challenge we rise, never wrong. With every goal we fly, hearts on fire. The passion unites us, takes us higher. Keep on singing, support never fades. Together we stand in this blue brigade. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Keep blue flag flying high, fly from Stamford Bridge, the pride that we share. Each kickoff, each moment, it feels so rare. With faith in our hearts, we chase the dream. Through every match day, we're part of the team. The love for our club is a powerful thing. Together we shout, let the victory ring. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. We're unstoppable. Hear the roar. In blue we trust forevermore. Together we sing hand in hand. For Chelsea forever we'll stand. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. Chelsea, the dream keeps us strong. Through every challenge we rise, never wrong. With every goal we fly, hearts on fire. The passion unites us, takes us higher. Keep on singing, support never fades. Together we stand in this blue brigade. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Keep blue flag flying high, fly high. From Stamford Bridge, the pride that we share. Each kickoff, each moment, it feels so rare. With faith in our hearts, we chase the dream. Through every match day, we're part of the team. The love for our club is a powerful thing. Together we shout, let the victory ring. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. We're unstoppable. Hear the roar. In blue we trust forevermore. Together we sing hand in hand. For Chelsea forever we'll stand. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. Chelsea, the dream keeps us strong. Through every challenge we rise, never wrong. With every goal we fly, hearts on fire. The passion unites us, takes us higher. Keep on singing, support never fades. Together we stand in this blue brigade. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. Each kickoff, each moment, it feels so rare. With faith in our hearts, we chase the dream. Through every match day, we're part of the team. The love for our club is a powerful thing. Together we shout, let the victory ring. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand, oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. We're unstoppable, hear the roar. In blue we trust forevermore. Together we sing hand in hand. For Chelsea forever we'll stand. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand, oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. Chelsea, the dream keeps us strong. Through every challenge we rise, never wrong. With every goal we fly, hearts on fire. The passion unites us, takes us higher. Keep on singing, support never fades. Together we stand in this blue brigade. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand, oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. From Stamford Bridge, the pride that we share. Each kickoff, each moment, it feels so rare. With faith in our hearts, we chase the dream. Through every match day, we're part of the team. The love for our club is a powerful thing. Together we shout, let the victory ring. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand, oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. We're unstoppable, hear the roar. In blue we trust forevermore. Together we sing hand in hand. For Chelsea forever we'll stand. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand, oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. Chelsea, the dream keeps us strong. Through every challenge we rise, never wrong. With every goal we fly, hearts on fire. The passion unites us, takes us higher. Keep on singing, support never fades. Together we stand in this blue brigade. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand, oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. From Stamford Bridge, the pride that we share. Each kickoff, each moment, it feels so rare. With faith in our hearts, we chase the dream. Through every match day, we're part of the team. The love for our club is a powerful thing. Together we shout, let the victory ring. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand, oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. We're unstoppable, hear the roar. forever we'll stand. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high.
Yes, good people, big up to all of you. Welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome for another edition of the Chelsea News Roundup Show. I do hope you're all doing well. Not too much to talk about today, but some important stuff to talk about. And because we keep it interactive here, chances are we talk a lot about the small stuff we have to talk about. But before we continue, please, if you don't mind, take a second, drop a like on the video, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We're getting closer and closer to 30K subscribers, and when we get there, we promise we will do a giveaway of a Chelsea kit with your name on the back. But that's by the way. I do hope you're all doing well. We'll talk about Mykhailo Mudryk's suspension, what that means for his career, and what that means, you can say, for his Chelsea future. We'll talk about rumors suggesting that Chelsea are already in talks with Xabi Alonso's camp. We'll also talk about Nicholas Jackson and all the random items that I'm sure we will find when we go news hunting. That's when we go on my favorite X account timeline to scour maybe, or to search for anything that emerged during the day that most of us haven't seen, or maybe haven't had the opportunity to discuss with a fellow Chelsea fan. So without wasting much of your time, I'm going to go ahead, and sorry if my system is a bit laggy. The weather is very, very poor on my end, severe weather, I must say. So that usually leads to a fluctuating internet connection. So I hope you can understand. Bear with me. Hopefully it stabilizes as the show progresses. Mod Manor here begging for likes on our behalf. She says, hey, you, yes, you, have you hit the like button? It takes just about a second. And if you're viewing the show in a vertical format, just double tap the screen. As you do so, pay attention to the likes count. If it increases by one, then it definitely, took into, then it will, you've added a like. Let me just simplify it, okay? All right, let's see. Yeah, and there one Dalo, I appreciate you for speaking our dialect. I appreciate that. Our language, maybe. Let's see. What else do we have here? Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Give me a second. All right, I apologize. Yeah, let's see what else we have here. God and Earth. That's a very beautiful name, and I like it. God and Earth. Although I don't know the meaning. If I'm going by the word, that is by the meaning of each word, I'd make up a meaning, but there might be some deeper meaning to it that I don't know. But God and Earth. Welcome to Chelsea Perspective. I do hope you're doing well. And if this is your first time, if it is your first time here, welcome. Feel at home, express yourself. All we ask you is to keep it civil. So thank you for joining us. What's up to you two? We're good. Well, we're happy that you're here. What else do we have here? Nothing except I think Mod Mana saying hello to God and Earth. So without wasting much of your time, I'm gonna go to the presentation window so we can begin news hunting. Yep. News hunting. I've explained what that means. That's when we don't have items lined up to talk about. Then we go hunting for news on X, on my favorite X account timeline, Vince trademark. Very objective. Hardly ever. You can say he sometimes presents his opinions, and when he does, actually, it almost always makes sense. And I like it when people speak objectively and not, you say, let their emotions drive their opinion. But that's, by the way, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. 6 likes, but I know we can do a lot better than that. All right, let's go. It ended Arsenal 1, Atletico Madrid 1. Talk about yesterday's being beautiful football. Today's was crazy. You can say there were a lot of whacking going on the pitch foul after foul, shoves, pushes, and all that. Yeah, controversies actually. But my goodness, I'm concerned that actually whichever team that wins the second, you can say that wins that goes through after the second leg between Arsenal and Atletico Madrid might actually go on to win the competition because they're very tight and defensively. Yeah, they're very tight and they're excellent on the break. Honestly, so which give you can say which makes it, which in my opinion suggests that yeah they're more one of the two teams that played today more likely to win the Champions League. But that's just my opinion. If it ends up being Atletico Madrid, I hope they do. But Arsenal, you know why I don't want them to win it. Yeah, I get it. Even if they win it, they still have one more to go to catch up with us. But no, let them not win it now. Eventually, one day they'll win it, and I don't want it to be now. Or maybe when we have five more, or maybe three more, or two more, even one more. All right, let's see what else we have here. And Vince here is saying, Vince is saying, not as boring as I expected. It wasn't boring, but it wasn't without. You could say, I'd say it wasn't without incidents. A lot of pushes, shoves. You could say, and they were nearly throwing punches. Actually, that was. Excuse me. Give me one second. Let me take care of my daughter. My boys. I sincerely do apologize. My daughter wants to always wants to be wherever I am, and my wife is not at home. And his brothers, yeah, none of them they're not even old enough to take care of themselves, let alone take care of the baby. So hopefully she's going to be calm now. So he says not as boring as I expected. I won't lie, they tried, but I am sure both of them already know they will be toast to any team that makes the final between PSG and Bayern. I'm honestly, I see it the other way around because both are very solid defensively, more solid than the other two defensively. The other two play more attacking football. The two that played today play more defensive football. So, in my opinion, I'm not going to bet whoever you can say comes, whichever team that comes through from the team that played yesterday, which I think most likely Bayern. Today's, you could say Atletico because Arsenal they'd have to come out to score goals in the second leg. So if look, I'm not gonna bet my life on one of the teams that played yesterday winning the Champions League. It's actually not that simple. Honestly, the two teams that played today, solid defensively, excellent on the break. I'd bet my money on one of them. Whichever team that makes it to the final from the two that played today, will most likely win the Champions League. Not certainly. I'm just going by, you can say, I follow football long enough to know that, yeah, not necessarily the most attacking side wins all the time, especially in the final, which is a one-off thing, no second leg. Um, but that's, by the way, and nice to see you. Who is this really? I'm trying to find out. I think I know who definitely switched their name to Kinetic Chelsea FC. I think I know who that is. Big up to you too, Wendy. Nice to see you out there. Hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you finding time to join the conversation this particular evening. It is still 5:55 p.m. CST. Thank you so much. We have 7 likes. I think we can do a lot better than 7 likes. I get it. We hadn't been streaming in a while until 5 days ago, or 3 days ago, actually. But we're back to streaming consistently, and the plan is actually to still air the Blue Morning Show and then the News Roundup show every day, and then supply you with a lot of delicious YouTube shots But thank you. So it wasn't boring, but not necessarily, you could say, the most beautiful game to watch on the day. It was a mix, you say, a mix of good football every now and then, and some harem football as expected. Let's see, what else do we have here? This, I think, Vince probably, yeah, a lot of beats about the game because, yeah, he never misses any serious game like such a serious game and posts like every seconds about yeah, I think he follows them live and tweets posts on X as he watches them, and so and then sometimes I like exchanging, you say, sharing my thoughts on his posts there on X. Postcodes other than the owners, nobody else in and around football thought Liam Rosenior was the right person for Chelsea. It was just crazy for me. Once you make that decision, what is Liam going to do? He's not going to say no to a Chelsea job from where he was. I think it was a bit of stereotype, in my opinion, given his, should I say, demeanor, in my opinion. And I still don't think he's a bad manager. I think his arrogance got into his head. And I'm going to say this again. I've said this 1,000 times, but I'm going to say it again because it's simply the fact. Rosenior is not a bad manager. He had an excellent excellent start to life as a Chelsea manager. Did well, was even nominated for the manager of the month. But he was, again, I wanted him to just take things slowly, not implement his approach in a drastic manner. But because we were winning, the boys were showing a lot of flares on the pitch. They did come across at the time as if they were having more fun than they did under Maresca. And we were all enjoying it until that decision to drop Robert Sanchez for Philip Jorgensen after he did well against Aston Villa, which we knew at the time was a huge risk. And I mean, he took the risk and it backfired spectacularly. Unfortunately for him, we weren't able to recover from the 8-2 leg loss against Paris Saint-Germain. But that's by the way. I'm not here. I really want to move on from him. But let's read what this is saying. Okay, not this. There's one more item I'd like us to address when if we come across it on X. Not quite sure whether we will something a report on Chelsea not paying him the full should I call it severance fee or something, which makes sense to me. He probably didn't meet in terms of threshold or something in terms with regards to performance. I don't think he came close to it because, yeah, they were smart enough to have inserted an exit clause on the contract they signed with him, so it was easy for them to let him go. Had that not been the case, I think it would have been very difficult to fire him. He'd still be here and probably till the end of the season and beyond, maybe. So they knew it was a risk, so they were cautious when they were constructing the contract he signed. Premier League legend Gareth Barry. How do you pronounce that? Why do I find it difficult these days pronouncing English? So he says any player, Cole Palmer and others, if they aren't seeing a long-term settled future at Chelsea, it's natural for them and their agents to start looking and thinking, where can we go and achieve things, and what ultimately is a quick career as a football player. There are no lies there, but I don't think it's gotten to that point right now. And I have my bro, Maya the rapper. I wish I was a clapper. I would have clapped for you. But Maya, nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation and also taking some time to repost it. I cannot thank you enough. I appreciate the way you've supported the community. But yeah, I would want to have you on the panel because I know you understand the game and you do like to talk about the game. But for some reason, you don't come onto the panel on Chelsea Perspective. So this is Vince's opinion. As I told you, we will eventually come across some of his opinions on here, and I like to read his opinions too. because yeah, it makes for a good debate when it is his opinion in most cases. Some people will argue that PSG's front three are better than Bayern's, but Olise is one of the best wingers around, and Kane is the best striker in the world this season. Compare that with PSG, Dembele is barely getting back to his best form, and Duo has been inconsistent. Only the former Napoli guy, I can't Cava. Let me just go with Cava. I can't pronounce his name for the life of me. Is even trying. As a front three, no team touches Bayern Munich this season. They are consistently on a different level. But one thing is certain: they are very their defensive line is very, very porous. Maybe I might not. I don't think it's down to the individual defenders. I think it's down to the high line and the risky approach that they play that they employ all the time. Not necessarily down to them having bad defenders. I think it's down to the risky approach because yeah, they never go defensive. They just you can even if they are, you could say their 10 goes down. Even if they need, you can say, to defend, to protect a result that which a lot of managers do. They don't do that. They they go for more. But I digress there. I think the best way to explain it is that just their defensive woes comes down to their approach, not necessarily to them because they have a bad defensive line. But anyway, they're very, very good to watch. Mike, the football they play is just delicious to consume, honestly. Sam Allardyce advises Marco Silva against taking the Chelsea job. And he says, as much as you want to take it, you have to be brave enough to say, I am better off staying at Fulham unless Chelsea change their structure and say we have to change. This is just absolute nonsense. And I've said this before. I'm not defending it, but I'm just saying the Chelsea job, for one reason or the other, is still very much attractive. And that's just my opinion. And I'm going to say something that I've already said before. Some managers would take it just for the sole purpose of advancing their career or proving that they're capable of holding their own at a bigger club or capable of doing well at the highest level, the Premier, aka the Premier League, and all that. So there will almost always be people the people the availability of people who are willing to take the Chelsea job. And the truth is, I'm going to say this. I've said it before. It's not all doom and gloom like people make it out to be. So the job is very much still attractive. Either the managers available take it and see it as you could say the next step in their career to prove that they're good enough to break through that elite ceiling and become elite. Or for the reason that yeah, they feel like we have a good squad, because we still do have a good squad. Maybe not a balanced squad, but we have a good squad. Is it would I go to the measure of saying a very good squad? Not quite, because yeah, we're still missing some key you could say key profiles to say, yeah, you know what, we're complete. All that needs to happen is just for the team to gel. But my other rapper, nice to see you. If they went defensive after going 5-2 ahead, they will be in the final now. But they're not. That's the problem. They are not that sort of team. PSG isn't. The PSG again aren't that sort of team. Bayern also aren't that sort of team. That was why it was chaotic. No, none of the teams wanted to really defend. They just wanted to score more goals. Yeah, they would have been. They would be in the final. What a shame! Enrique failed his players last night, in my opinion. You think they see it that way? I think they you could say he's drilled that mentality into them too. So to them, I don't think they'd be that disappointed. I think they still believe that yeah, they're going to win the second leg. While Bayern players also will believe, they have to believe that yeah, they're going to win the second leg too. It's just you can say the sort of meeting between two teams that would produce a chaotic viewing for the average football follower on the day. So yeah, nothing disappointing to them. Vincent Company only disappointed that that they didn't win, because some team, you'd hear some managers say, not a bad result. One down, we can still turn things around in the second leg. That's how most managers would see it. But that's, by the way, Marco Silva. I don't want him at Chelsea for reasons I've explained before. I've known him for a while now, and I think it'd be accurate to say he's gotten plenty of opportunity to prove that, yeah, he can break through that elite ceiling and become an elite manager. But yeah, he's not been able to take that opportunity, especially, I'd say, at Everton, where they spent tons of money at the time, bought a lot of players, but still, he couldn't do it. And I think I've followed him long enough also to see for myself that when it matters from a tactical perspective, he usually falls short. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. That's not to say tomorrow now he doesn't become one of the best managers in world football. After all, some people never achieve anything until later in their life. We know a few professional footballers who at the end became one of the best, but didn't arrive onto the big scene only in their you could say arrive on the big scenes late in their careers. All right, Marco Silva at Chelsea is a risk. I hope the owners are thinking. Here's the thing: I'm not going to say for certain who's going to become our next manager. So I'm not too concerned, because we've been there before, where we had the Twitter Junos, social media Junos, throw a lot of names at us, and in the end, it turns out we weren't actually considering plenty of the names that were being mentioned at the time. And Enzo Maresca, who was late mentioned at the time, became our manager. So, but it's important that sometimes you discuss some of the names being mentioned, because there's some measure of truth to what we're hearing. All right, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the conversation this evening. In total, we have 33 people following the show, but only it was 7, now 5 on YouTube. The rest are shared between X and Facebook, whether equally Coachella doesn't know. All right. Interesting here. Did we address this yesterday? This is new also. And yesterday's reports that we addressed, none was from Fabrizio Romano, the transfer guru himself. I call him that. But this says there's interest from Italy in Nicholas Jackson, but if for Italian clubs, the only way possible is it's a loan deal. Shocking, right? Yeah, listen. This is no different from those reports we addressed yesterday, and I don't think Chelsea would want to do business with any of them if they're not looking to sign him on a permanent. And I think we'll be happy to keep him. And we've talked about this again, but we just have to, because yeah, it's still there. It's still being talked about. His future is still being discussed. Let's say if in fact the reason he had to leave Chelsea was because he had the falling out with Enzo Maresca, then I can see him playing for Chelsea again. And I think it makes sense from his perspective to decide to stay at Chelsea. We know him. We know what he's capable of. The only thing we asked of him at the time was to improve, be more efficient in front of goal consistently. And the way I read it at the time was that he didn't want to compete, which to some extent you could say from certain perspective did sound accurate at the time. But yeah, I'm not saying again. I knew at the time that there's no way to tell whether I was accurate, whether what I was saying was accurate or not, because yeah, we can do nothing but speculate because we don't work for the club. But it did seem at the time that the reason he opted to leave was because he had the falling out with Enzo Maresca, and something sensible also. People at the time suggesting that the reason he opted to leave was because he felt like his place. You say he's on. You can say he was going to lose his place to Delap or João Pedro, and was he in fact became number three in the pecking order. That it made sense. A lot of, you can say, arguments at the time made sense, but we've been hearing that he's open to remaining at Chelsea, and Chelsea, we've heard 1,000 times that they're open to reintegrating him into the squad if he wants to. If we're to believe that, there's also a chance that Chelsea didn't like the fact that when they asked him to come back, he refused to come back. So I don't know. We can only speculate, but let's see what happens. He's a player that I wouldn't mind staying. He's a good player. He just needs to improve his finishing. He just needs to become more efficient in front of goal, and that's it. And at the time, based on my observations at the time, I did say that all he needed to start doing was to shoot instinctively and not almost always opt for a first touch before deciding on what to do with the ball. Kinso, nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. We haven't had the fight in a while on X. I hope we do. Marco Silva, I don't see it happening. No, you can say, I'm not gonna say for certain that we're seriously interested in signing him. And sometimes I think clubs on papers add certain names to the list of players they want to sign, or list of managers they're looking to hire, just not to, I'm not sure, just probably as smoke screens. Yeah. Give me a second. A term that's a term I was never familiar with until I became a football content creator. Give me a second here. Let me put up a poll to ask people to beg for likes. Yeah, because the likes do go a long way. Ooh.
Local Amber Alert. Missing child from Irving, Texas. Missing child is Isaiah Jackson.
All right, give me a second here. One sec. That's like how many seconds now? But I begged for 1 second. I'm almost done. I don't know why people do that. You ask for 1 second, and then in a minute you're not you're still not done. Yeah, but that's by the way. Let's see. News hunting continued. Nicholas Jackson, I wouldn't mind him. But how about you? All right. After this, I think it's important that we talk about. Let's read this particular report on Cesc Fabregas. I think something he had to say, and then we'll talk about the future. You can say what happens next to Mykhailo Mudryk. So here, Cesc Fabregas says, "What I've been told, there's some kind of a suggestion that long term, the plan for him is to manage Arsenal one day. Not him. That's according to SkyCav. I am not sure moving to Chelsea will be part of his career progression. A dangerous place, in my opinion, where you." You don't get enough time to implement your approach because he's one of those managers that employs I think it'd be accurate to say a very complicated approach. You could argue the Fabregas is one of those managers that is very, very idealistic in terms of the way they want to approach the game, and hardly ever compromises. And one of the reasons why I told people I actually don't want him at Chelsea right now, not necessarily down to him not being ready alone, but because he's that might not be. You could say he might not be pragmatic enough to do well in the Premier League. So needs more experience, and at some point accept that he needs to be pragmatic to a certain measure to be able to win stuff consistently, in my opinion. Because and every time I discuss this that particular topic, I talk about how Pep himself, has learned to be a bit pragmatic, either by the type of players he signed, like signing a traditional number 9 like Erling Haaland, and sometimes bringing on a defensive player to protect the lead, which he didn't do that much in the past. So this is just Kava. Is it Kava or Kav? How do you pronounce that? This is just his opinion anyway. There's no saying that, again, if he gets the opportunity to take the Chelsea job, that he wouldn't. But like, once again, this is just his opinion. Big up to you too, my bro. I appreciate you, Maya the rapper. And I'm happy to say that I have the captain of the community in Constantine Dante on the panel with me. Dante, how are you doing, man? The
I'm good,
oh,
thanks much. I'm good. Yourself?
I can't complain. I can't complain. I don't know. It just not talked about not a lot really. The Cole Palmer thing, not news. The Liam Rosenior thing, Postco's opinion. Bayern's attack, which I agree with Vince, the best in the world in my opinion.
Hmm.
But they're crappy defensively. Not down to them having bad defensive players, but because down to their approach. That's why they get exposed easily. And the goal that Cava scored, the former Napoli guy scored. I think he was from a counter, I think he was they planned for it on the flanks. Bayern are almost always vulnerable, especially on the right hand side. Left hand side if you're facing them, but right hand side if they're facing you. So let me start you with this one, Nicholas Jackson. I disagree with what this man is saying here. What's his name? Who said that again? TP Tabi, I'm not sure who that is. Okay. But that's by the way. Let's talk about Nicholas Jackson, Dante. Look at
Hmm.
it. We knew that if Italian clubs, if they show interest, it'd be to take him on loan. And lo and behold, Fabrizio has said that today, 3 hours ago. He's saying they want Nicholas Jackson, but for Italian clubs, the only way possible is on loan. And I think he's going to end up staying at Chelsea because he has a very, very long contract, and Chelsea are in a hurry to sell him, and Chelsea aren't going to sell him for cheap. And I think from his perspective, in my opinion, he'd be better off staying at Chelsea. But maybe what happened, all the back and forth from his camp and the club's camp, maybe it'd be accurate to say, yeah, he's burnt the bridge and even burnt the ground where that now it's even impossible to rebuild the bridge. But let's hear you.
Yeah, big up to Maya. Thanks for acknowledging me there. Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. We know he kind of burnt the bridge, don't we? The stuff not he said, but his agent directly said through him. So it's basically
But
coming from.
whatever you could say, whatever his agent said at the time reflects how feels, how you could say he was feeling about the situation at the time.
Correct, yes. And an agent can say it because he didn't say it himself, so he won't get fined or anything. So yeah, that's little tricks like that, but that's coming from Jackson, so same mindset. So yeah, look, it'll be good to have another player in the squad that can do what he does. But yeah, is it too late? It might be. I think they'll probably try to sell him or probably loan him if they can't sell him. But we'll have to wait and see. But look, I would add him to the squad definitely. He'll add something to the squad. He's got a bit of experience in the Premier League as well now. Plays well with Palmer as well. Could probably play pretty good with João Pedro as well. So yeah, he would add something extra. Now we just have to wait and see if he hasn't burnt the bridge too much or.
Let's say this. If in fact, as we've heard, that one of the main reasons why he opted to leave was because he had a falling out with Enzo Maresca. If that was in fact the case, I think it'd be accurate to say whether he plays for Chelsea again comes down to who the club hires to replace Rosinia.
Yeah. Personally, I don't think he had a falling out with Maresca. I don't think that was it. I just think he didn't want to stay and compete with two other strikers. That's what
That's how I saw it at the time, and
yeah,
it's believable, really.
I still see it that way because he loved Jackson, so that's not a problem. So Maresca loved Jackson. He played him all the time. Most of the time, even when he was bad, he played him. So yeah, I don't see that happening. I just think I really wouldn't see that happening with any of the players. Maresca's tough, yeah, but he's all business, so he wouldn't get personal enough with a player for something like that to happen. From what I've seen, how his personality is. So yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just him didn't want to stay and compete with the other two strikers, and he saw what João Pedro did at the Club World Cup, and he knew he'll be the number one striker, and the lap will be challenging him, and the lap will be challenging, and he didn't want to stay. He got a offer, obviously, and that that's interested him, and he went for it.
And he
So
thought probably he'd end up staying there on a permanent.
exactly. He probably thought, he can do it there. He can prove there. They play a lot of games as well, and he was basically the next striker behind Harry Kane. So he still played quite a lot of games as well, but didn't really have the impact they wanted to, and they're sending him back, of course.
Yeah. He said that Xabi is twerking for Liverpool. That's a lie. I haven't seen anything that suggests he's twerking for Liverpool. And I wouldn't be surprised if I see anything that suggests that's the case. And here's the thing, Dante, surprisingly, what we talked about, how, again, it's still a risk because if tomorrow Arne Slot gets, fluffs it and he gets fired, even if you say he's 7 months into the Chelsea job, or maybe, no, you say, even if it's in the second year of his Chelsea job, should we hire him? We talked about how he wouldn't hesitate to say bye Felicia and go to Liverpool.
Yeah, look, he's a red. He bleeds red, not blue, in my opinion. He was
I mean,
there a long time.
that's a fact.
It's a fact. I've heard him say it before in interviews. So he, loves Liverpool. He was there a long time. So yeah, look, it's a big risk. Like I said a couple of streams ago, it's a big risk because of that, and because of the volatility of Slot's position as well. Depending how they finish, you might not even. They might lose the next 5 games. Sorry, the next 3 or 4 games in a row, and they might finish out. Really struggle to finish in Champions League. So we don't know. Yeah, look, I'll be a little bit worried. Like I said, they should, if they really want him. We don't know if he wants to come to Chelsea. First of all, we don't know that. That's just speculation. So he needs to want to come, and accept the terms and conditions, obviously. But they have to really dig deep and investigate about that, because yeah, you wouldn't want that situation. Definitely, you wouldn't want that.
All right, on the screen, Jackson left wing. I would say yes. I've seen him play there before. After all, he was a winger, and it was it Emery that converted him to a striker when they had a player out injured at Villarreal. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, Dante. And
Yeah, they
the
had a couple of
advantage of
strikers
playing
down.
Jackson,
Yeah.
the advantage of playing Jackson on the flanks is that he tracks back effectively. I think we did experience that under Pochettino. But Dante, let's say Jackson left wing. Your thoughts?
He only played, I think, maybe twice the most on the wing. I think, yeah, twice he played only, I think, on that wing. And Pochettino didn't like it. He swapped him back centrally. So, yeah, look, it just depends how you want to set up. It's a good option to have, but it depends on the coach, who the coach is, how he wants to use him. We've seen, coaches now that know they don't want to play him on the wing. How many coaches? Poch, we've seen Maresca, etc. Everyone, no, they don't want to play him on a wing. They want to play him centrally. So it just depends on the coach who's in charge and the style they want to play. So yeah, look, I think he can do it. It looks like he can do it. But probably he's better suited to a second striker, more of a roaming in behind.
I think
the main striker.
he will run riot if you play him as a second striker. But there's something else. Let me know. I think it'd be wrong to say that because he doesn't apply. You could say he doesn't have. I don't want to insult his footballing intelligence, but I think he lacks that intelligence to. You could say effectively exploit spaces or make decisive runs, switch up his position. I'm not going to say he's usually as static as Lukaku in the boxes. I think he has a lot more to his game to Lukaku. But as a second striker, like, that sort of second striker, when you can say the stronger of the two, usually it's usually good when you're playing two strikers up front. One of them should be able to be excellent aerially, that when he goes for the ball, then the second one will always anticipate the flick from him or
Correct.
either on the carpet or in the air. I don't remember whether Jackson has that intelligence. Uh, or maybe he has that. Let me not say has that. You can say whether he has that in his game, because I think he's an intelligent player. I don't know.
Yeah, the game hasn't slowed down for him yet. He still can't connect the action with the thinking. You got to connect those two at the right timing. Now that's still not there for him yet. Now he might never get that, or he will get that, as he gets a bit more mature. So it's called, the game slowing down for you, basically, where you can make decisions. It's like it's slowed down, and you have time to make all decisions pretty easily. But for him, no, he can't put those two together yet. So I think he's still got a bit to go to actually do that, because I don't think he's as, like you say, as intelligent football IQ. Uh, he can't marry the two together, basically, and that is IQ. That's what you call football IQ.
Yeah, unfortunately. And Maya is saying that Jackson ain't coming home, bro. The way we crashed on him. Did we crash on him? No, I think he bailed on us. And I'm still saying, as much as I loved Enzo Maresca and was one of his biggest defenders, I believe he betrayed us to an extent. Some people say he moved goalposts after winning two trophies. He became arrogant and moved the goalposts. That makes sense too. But whatever happened, I think we would have been better off letting him finish the season. But that's another argument for another day. I'm just saying, Jackson. I don't think the club wronged him. Had the club, again, if we wronged him, if in fact we did wrong him at the time, I don't think we would have had the impetus of the balls to go back to him and ask him to come back. That yeah, we don't want to send him out on loan again. I don't know if you get my point, Dante.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Like I said, we'll have to wait and see. It's one of those we don't know till he comes back. He reports back, and they sit down, talk to him. Then we'll know. But yeah. I don't think he'll stay personally. No, I don't.
All right, I see a lot of Chelsea fans mention Xavi. He's another idealistic manager. Maybe I didn't pay attention to his Barcelona side to know, you could say, to have good knowledge of his approach beyond what I see on the surface level from a tactical perspective. I still think he's one of those managers that would need to apply some measure of pragmatism to his approach to do well in the Premier League. He's
Yeah.
that sort of manager bent on beautiful football, and which could argue led to him not doing as well as the Barca hierarchy expected him to do at the time, which was why they had to let him go. But let's hear you, Dante.
Yeah, look, at least his a possession game, tiki taka, a lot of small passes, left, right, center, open up spaces.
Yep, sure, yeah, keeping it close.
Yeah, so look, it would work with that squad. So that is a plus, because I think we have those type of players, and we have the squad for that. So it would work. He would work. Again, does he want to come? We don't know if they're gonna even contact him, or if they do and he says no, we don't know what's he's gonna say. So yeah, he's probably
I
one that.
haven't heard anything that suggests we're even, you could say, looking to talk to him.
Yeah, he's kind of, yeah. He hasn't, after he got sort of fired, he didn't really take any other big job. So I don't know where his mindset is at that guy. So I'm not sure where he wants to be. So yeah, it's just another one that can be added to that list of or the ones that are available. But like I said, all these can be available, but it means nothing. The club needs to go after them, and they need to say yes. So it's a long process. It won't happen this quickly.
Yeah, he won. He won, but at least maybe a few weeks after the end of the season, I think we'll get to know who will become our next manager. Because by then they'd be on the verge of completing the process. Um, Let's see. This is just PR. I don't think it's PR. It's serious, honestly. Let's see. Is Michael Silva a possession? I say not necessarily. It, it depends. Even though I still, again, because I've watched a few of their games because of Iwobi, Basi, Chukwueze. No, no, not really. I
Not
think
really, no.
no. Transitional player, almost always after from what I've seen.
And that's why
Um,
those coaches prefer that level, because their football translates, and those type of players translates to their football. So that's why they're at that level, and they stay at that level for a very long time, because yeah, again, those traits are perfect for them. Yeah, the way they play.
I don't know why people are saying Chelsea are a mess right now. We just need a new manager, and you know what? I think it's accurate. We're in crisis. Whether you think it's mini crisis or full blown crisis, that's
No,
up to
I
you.
wouldn't call it crisis. We're in a FA Cup final. We've got a final to look forward to, so I wouldn't call it a crisis. But yeah, definitely some, some things to sort out. Obviously, players and the incoming manager, etc. The Maresca thing really derailed us. Then obviously they got Rosenior in to give them a
What do
lot.
you make of my opinion? To be clear, it's my opinion that Maresca betrayed us.
Yes, I think to an extent, yes. If if everything is true, then yes, definitely. There is some other little things they haven't come out yet, but to an extent, yes, definitely did. Yes, because from what we saw, he asked permission to speak to Man City, because that way, it's the
Which
legal
would
way of doing it.
infuriate me. I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah, no, of course not. So now, why did he do that? Did he have to do that? Like you said, couldn't he just see out the season? Well, it's difficult to say. We don't really know 100% yet what exactly transpired and what happened. More details will come out, but we'll see when that they come out. Oh, is that me or is that coach? I'm not sure. Is it me? Am I disconnected, chat? Am I still talking? Can you hear me? Could be coach offline, I think, actually, not me. He's he's got the Walmart Wi-Fi, not me now. Yeah, you guys can hear me. Okay. Yeah, look, yeah, transitional play more, Maya, more, on the break, uh, a bit more defensive, but more on the break and a lot of running as well. So they're like, you got to be quite fit. So a lot of running. So y- very similar to most of those coaches that level. They train players like that. So does it suit our squad? Not really. It can, but it's very hard, and you got to have a couple more of the right players. As we saw, Pochettino struggled with it, and then it came a bit good, but injuries, etc., can happen. So our squad was built for possession football. It was definitely but that. That's why they got Maresca. Maresca came in, and that's why once he got it going, he looked really good, and we were very good. Yeah, it is more boring. It's not as exciting like we saw. Obviously, PSG, but Bayern Munich, when they have that attacking talent to play like that as well. So yeah, in the Premier League, it's not, you can't do that all the time, because if you do that, you get caught out in the Premier League. Unfortunately, it's not. You guys know you can't play like that all the time. So look, the possession suited us, and I think they should look for someone that's more possession, not someone
So,
that's
so
chase,
that's
chase, chase.
okay. Here you go. Go ahead.
The Walmart is on back on, coach.
Okay, you got me. There's some in some areas in Texas here. There's a
We
tornado.
know you shop
Some
at Walmart.
houses are. Yeah, I do shop it. Yeah, I'm cheap, really. I have to be honest. There's no shame in it. Cheap
There's
is
no
good.
shame. Not with 4 kids. No, there's no shame.
No, Cheap is good. And I was like free. Buy one, get one free. I do a lot of that.
Yeah, you guys
All
have
right,
crazy
Houston.
stuff there,
That's it.
coupons,
Yeah,
etc.
that's a tornado in Texas. Yeah, it's happening again, right?
No, you're good.
Oh gosh.
You're good. I can hear you.
All right, but it looks like my camera is frozen. I'm not sure what has happening, but once this come on, I'll turn off some software here. But since you can hear me, that's better. I'm not sure whether I can highlight comments. But yeah, Maya is saying I'm able to see Maya's comment on this side here. He's saying we're gonna bring Tabejo out because
Oh, you're breaking up, coach.
I've never. He was again. At
Man, those twisters are really messing with his internet. Nope, he's gone. It's twister season in the States there, I think. So, yeah, tornadoes. And if
say
there's one not too
his
far away.
availability. Sorry.
We lost you. I didn't hear you. Just came back now.
Oh, okay. I think it's gonna fix. I'm gonna use the system manager to shut off some stuff here to make it a lot easier. So I'm just saying, I love Maresca. That I'd swear that I love Maresca and protected him more than Torrejo did. Torrejo became you could say a Maresca holic after he left. But I'm not so. But he loved him though. He protected him.
Yeah,
But I at times actually he was giving him sticks. We were protecting him. But that's by the way he can come. I haven't you can say fought with him in a while.
yeah, he
Dante, let's
was.
talk about. Go ahead.
Yeah, he definitely sort of warmed up to him, where me and you were pretty much from the start. But yeah,
Hmm.
and he criticized him quite a lot, called him names, and remember we had a bit of a go at him for calling him names, etc. So, but then all of a sudden, the big love came from him leaving, which was interesting.
Which made a lot of people mad actually,
Yeah,
but he loved him, but not as much as you could say his love. How much he loves him now doesn't measure how much he loved him at the time. But
not even
that's by the
close.
way, Dante. Let's talk about Mykhailo Mudryk. I think, in my opinion, I don't think his case will be any different from that of the French international from Manchester United,
Pogba, yeah,
Juventus. He went back
Pogba.
to where did he go at Pogba? But where did he went back to the French league, but to what club? Not Monaco, right?
Monaco, I think, yeah.
But it doesn't really matter where he went back to. But Houston, what I'm trying to say is I don't think Mudryk's case will be different from his. Why? Not necessarily because he hired the same law firm that defended Pogba, but because I think the time he served under probation, the probational suspension, I think it counts,
Of course, yeah, it does count. Yes,
right?
yes, since he's been out of football, yes.
Okay, that counts. Plus, I think the court of arbitration for sports, I think we're all has a few months. But let's hear you.
Yeah, so basically the 4 years is standard, and usually what happens after the appeal, which he was already back on the 26th of Feb, I think you put the appeal in. Um, that's from precedents from Pogba's case and another couple of cases, it was halved to 2 years. So if we're going by that, the same, legal
And,
team,
and we've
and
talked about how that definitely will become a precedent until something changes drastically,
well, it has to because it's, very similar. So I mean, it's law that way. So it's the standard basically. So if they if they don't approve that, well, something. Even those guys must be Arsenal fans or Man United fans, or they hate Chelsea or something if they don't do that. But yeah, I think you'll probably will get that done that because I think if not, I think Chelsea would have already moved on from him. They would have cancelled contracts, etc. So
Well, once again, just quickly before you continue, the fact that he's still on Chelsea's website, that tells me the club, Chelsea, aren't looking to sell him. I think he gets to play for Chelsea again.
I do as well. Next season he probably will
Yeah,
if that
because there's
appeal
no
goes.
way
Yeah,
you'd tell me that the club doesn't know how this ends. I think they know because they have inside information or knowledge, if you prefer, with
of
regards to
course.
what really went on. So they know that, yeah, that eventually he gets to play. That you could say they still believe in him. I think it'd be accurate to say that, because if they don't believe in him, the moment such thing happens, they would tell the club, was it Shakhtar, the club that sold them to Chelsea, yeah, given this situation, we're not paying you again.
Yeah, and Shakhtar, the president spoke again a couple of days ago. Yeah, they've got a 30 million in that contract. If he doesn't play for Chelsea again, they don't get 30 million. They lose 30 million. So
We could have just done that and saved
yeah,
30 million.
they could have done that. That's why I'm saying then it's probably going to go to appeal. It'll be cut down to 2 years, and he'll be back next season if that's the way it's going. So we'll wait and see. Hopefully, he is. I think he was looking really good before he got banned. He started comfortable and using his speed and his technical ability much better, and he was looking really good. So
Played with more intelligence.
yeah, more intelligence, and unfortunately that happened. So look, we could do with him another left winger definitely. So we'll see what happens. But it's looking that they will follow precedence, and that will be cut down hopefully to 2 years, and then he will be back. Like I said, Chelsea would have probably already cancelled the contract, already exited, especially
Yeah,
after the appeal. The
and
appeal was lodged on
not owe anybody
February.
anything.
Yeah, the appeal was lodged on the 26th of February this year. So they would have already known. So they would have already cancelled these, all the contracts have clauses, exit clauses for that, for stuff like that. So they didn't trigger those clauses because obviously I think he's going to be coming back next season.
Yeah, and he's still, you can say, follows the club social media account, liking stuff and all that. Yeah, they're trying.
And he's training pretty hard. He's been training with personal trainers and experts, training like all different type of things he's been doing. So that actually
Yeah,
can
as
come as a
much as,
benefit.
yeah, this guy is actually a very good footballer. We just need, so you can say it's just that Chelsea fans, we don't know how to support players really. This guy, in my opinion, is Ronaldo compared to Garnacho. Not even close. Garnacho is more like Timo Werner. He needs tons of space to be effective. Whereas I'm not saying Garnacho is a bad player, but you get the point
Yeah,
right now.
of course. Yes.
Yeah. All right. They didn't succeed, and he says, "Is this a question?" My guy was a Maresca hater. My voice saw the vision. Who was a Maresca hater?
He's talking about Tabega.
He was really. I wouldn't
Obviously,
go
he
to the
didn't
extent
know.
of saying he hated
Maya
him,
didn't
but he
know.
gave him a lot of stick. Yeah. I know who gave him the stick. He gave him stick the more. Bobby Fairview. It was actually slandering at the time. He was slandering Vincent Company, like 20 posts. I just don't want to cut out the receipts, but I'm just going to leave him. He was calling him championship manager, how they figured him out in Bayern, but he's proven actually that he has what it takes to be up there. So Bayern did their research and they knew he had it in him before hiring him. Anyway, I digress. A question for you, Dante. I'm going to throw that question to you. Do you guys think we can sell Mudryk, and his situation is dodgy because the 4-year ban doesn't make any sense? Heston, I think if you follow the Paul Pogba case, even if you didn't follow the Paul Pogba case, usually even in non-related football cases, if you're already in prison before you're sentenced, usually time served. It depends on your situation. Count, right? I think in this case, at the time, nearly 2 years now, right?
Yes.
So it counts too. So probably it's gonna be he's gonna have to say with the case now. You can say on the desk maybe of the court of arbitration in sport. I think they probably he just has a few months. But let's hear you. You can answer the question, Dante. And Chelsea aren't looking to sell him already. You should know that. The fact that his picture remained on our website and registered for the Premier League till now. Because I still think he's registered for the Premier League. We're not looking to sell him, but go ahead.
Yeah, look, he's got a contract to 2031 with us. So he's on a long-term contract. They're not going to sell him. You're not going to sell an asset like that when he comes back. He has to come back and play a while, etc., and then you can probably sell him. But I don't think that's the plan to sell him. The plan is to him to come back and integrate him back in, and so he plays. Then, if obviously he doesn't do it or whatever, then maybe. But they're not going to sell him straight away because one, no one will buy him straight away. If they do, it'll be very, very low. So no, I don't think they will do that. He'll definitely stay. If he comes back, he'll stay definitely, in my opinion.
And the reason why you could say, I think they don't want to. I don't think they want to sell him because you could argue they'd be better off actually canceling his contract if it's because he's found guilty of doping, and
Correct.
he'd end up being the one that owes the club.
Yes, it could be as well. So no,
Yeah.
it would have happened in February when that decision came through. That's when it would have happened already. That's February, March, April, May. Nearly 3 months ago. So yeah, look, I think he will be back, and that time gets served. Well, he'll be back next season if that's the case.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be. I don't think because CAS they usually favor players a lot.
They do, yes. They're the more lenient, and that's why that appeals. It's they look at the case a little bit different from the FA would, where there's parameters to, for the mistake that happened. There's parameters, not just yes, it happened. Doesn't matter what happened. 4 years. So yeah, it's a little bit different with CAS. Everybody appeals there, and pretty much it's a 50 gets their halved basically their sentence because they can present more.
It's the players go to.
Well, because they can present more evidence, they can present more a case a little bit differently, and they look at those things. So, and they take those things into account. So that's why it is different a little bit. Yes.
Yeah, and the United States of Chelsea. I love that name. I see you have a channel too. Yeah, and a dedicated Chelsea channel. Is it? Let me see. Yeah, of course, Chelsea is in the name. So I'm going to make you a moderator. That way, you should be able to share the link to your channel. So I know we don't have too many people following the show right now. Yeah, because we hadn't been streaming in a while. But you can always share the link to your channel so people can go check it out. Standard moderator. All right. Yeah, I'm going to subscribe immediately, actually. Yeah, I've subscribed. And if you're in the chat, he will share the link to his YouTube channel. If you're in the chat, go check out his YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. Let's help him grow. Yeah, we all love the club, and it's important that we support each other. All right, the United States of Chelsea, thank you for joining once again. I appreciate you finding time to join the conversation. Let's go. And Maya says, I cannot lie. Mudryk was coming all right under Enzo Maresca. It was, again, his shocking his situation. The way it happened, I'm not going to say he didn't do it, but it could have been, I mean, anything could have happened. I wasn't there, but still, yeah. If he did it, if he really did it, that's up to him to learn from it. You understand? I'm not sure what to make of it. I was shocked it happened, but I can't go to the measure of saying he probably didn't do it or he probably did it. We don't know too much.
How old do you think Mudryk is, coach? Do you know how old he is?
Right now?
Yep.
I think he should be 25.
Yeah, correct. Yep. Surprisingly,
so
I thought he was younger than that.
Yeah, so you can argue You know, that's a common thing because when footballers emerge very early, you can say in their early 20s or late, yeah, in their early 20s, if they merge onto the big saints, usually people get their ages wrong because you've been hearing their names for a while. You think that they are closing in, they're close to 30, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
happens. So, but here's what I want to say here. In this case, I think he's lucky that it didn't happen in his, you could say, mid 20s or late 20s, just like the case of Pogba. Because by the time when Pogba's happened, it was better. I don't think it'd be accurate to say he was basically on the verge of retiring, but he was
Yeah.
a bit older at the time before it happened, which meant that yeah, before he comes back, he'd be a lot older and all that. I don't know. Anything else you want to add to that before we move on?
No, no, just it came up and yeah, I forgot that he's actually he's not like a 21-year-old. He's actually 25. So yeah, he's
But not bad. That's after 2 years plus.
yeah. So we signed him in 2023 at the start of the season, the January transfer window. Yep.
He was 21 at the time, right? Or 22?
Yeah, I think 21 and just turning 22. Yeah.
All right. I've talked about this. Okay, it's yet to be shared. Okay. Okay, just something I've read before. All right, this one here. Listen, this is Sky Cav's opinion. Is that Cav? Is that how you pronounce that? Sky Cav?
I don't know. It's Cave, a Cave. I don't know. Depends where he's
Yeah,
from.
okay. Yeah, this is just his opinion. I think if Fabregas gets, if he gets the opportunity, he'd take the Chelsea job.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. But Cav is, yes, I think he's suggesting that he's more likely to, you can say, to become Arsenal manager than Chelsea. I think, but that's his own opinion. But I think he's more of a Chelsea legend than an Arsenal legend, in my opinion.
Well,
Um,
look, he did coach, played there for a very long time. He captained as well Arsenal for a while. So
yeah, he
yeah,
did,
look,
yeah.
so
But you can say the way he left, I think, I mean, for
well, he
Barca,
left to
I think,
Barcelona. They sold him for a pretty good fee, and he left for Barcelona. So
but they
uh,
weren't really ready to sell him at the time. But he pushed to leave.
yeah, he couldn't. He wanted to go Barcelona. He wanted to go
Hmm.
back to Barcelona. So that didn't quite work out as he wanted to, and then he came back, and Chelsea got him. So yeah, look, he's probably more Arsenal than Chelsea because he wasn't that long with us, to be honest. What was it, 2, 3 seasons? I
But he
think. How
did
many?
say Chelsea
Three
gave him what
seasons.
he wanted in the Premier League.
He won the
How do
Premier
you think
League,
Arsenal fans will see that?
yeah, and a European Cup. So he won with us. That's why. But like the guy was there a long time, and he knew everyone, and it was very much a very loved Arsenal player. So yeah, look, we don't know, but I keep the people keep going to Fabregas, but like I said, Fabregas he's just started coaching, and he's got a share in that club as well, where he's coaching at Como, and yeah, I don't think he'll want to leave that. Not now. I don't think he leaves anytime soon. Anywhere, to be honest, I think he'll be there for a little while till he accomplishes what he wants to accomplish, and then he'll probably leave if he accomplishes that. So I just don't see him dropping that project right now because he's too much into it. He's one of the main guys in their project, and like I said, he's part ownership as well. So when you're that
It
involved,
just wouldn't make sense. Even before he essentially ruled himself out by saying he'd be at Como 26, 27, we knew it just wouldn't make sense for him to abandon, because I think it'd be accurate to say his own project, basically.
yeah, and
Because he, mhm.
they're fifth
and,
in
and,
the
and
Italian
because
league,
he's a
coach.
very, because of his very idealistic approach, it you could say it'd be difficult for the next whoever takes over to hit the ground running. Go ahead.
And they're fifth, and they will play Europe because the sixth and then the seventh's like 10, 12 points away from them. So they will get minimum conference, but most likely Europa and maybe even Champions League. So he'll want to see that project out, second division, first division, promotion and all that, and then up the table, and then this season up in Europe, and he will be in Europe next season. So I think he'll want to see that through with that team. So I don't see him leaving, to be honest. Maybe after next season, it depends what he accomplishes, but I think he's very involved in who they sign and what they do. He's got pretty much full control there as well.
And
So
I don't think he'd get that any other place in world football right now.
no, absolutely no way. Well, if you're an owner, if you're part ownership, if you got, I can't remember how much it was ownership, but it's 20% or something. But doesn't matter. You're still an owner. That's still quite a lot. So yeah, I don't see him leaving, to be honest. And he'll be probably, if I was in his position, I wouldn't leave either. I would stay with that club, see it through next season, play Europe, see what you can do there. Maybe this following season after that, depending how you go, what you win, etc. Maybe, but yeah, I wouldn't leave if I was him either.
Yeah, let's see this. Jay is saying, big up to you too, Jay. He says Atletico fumbled the home game, should have converted those few chances. I mean, in football, luck plays a part a lot. But I think it's still a good result for them. Because Arsenal, they just have to come out and attack in the second leg. I think I think Arsenal probably are gonna get knocked out. Had Arsenal won the game, then that'd be it. I'd say, yeah, that's it for Atletico. But I think Atletico are more likely to win this game because had Arsenal won, they'd be more defensive at home. But now Arsenal needs to come out for goals, and I think Atletico will exploit that. And Mykhailo doesn't look like he's. I don't think he's. You could say he's a bit too cautious. Let's hear you, Dante, your thoughts.
Yeah, look, it's 1-1, so there's no, golden goal. Sorry, there's no, having an advantage in away goal, etc. So I think Arsenal will play even just as tight, just as much. He will play the same way. He will not change anything. So hopefully, Atletico Madrid with their firepower up front, hopefully they can get some goals because, Arsenal's not going to score a lot of goals. And if they change their structure to attack, well, that's not something they do and they'll fall apart, in my opinion. So, yeah, let's hope Atletico Madrid get the job done and move on because I don't want to see Arsenal in a Champions League final, that's for sure.
They can win it if they get there. If they get there.
Yeah, the defensive and set pieces because that's much slower and the opposition as well, Bayern Munich and PSG, one of those two, that is their weakness. That is their weakness. So yeah, look, I would if they get to the final, I think they'll probably could win it 100% because of who they're playing now.
I bet any of the teams that the two teams that played today, one of them again in the more likely to win the final than any of the two one of the two teams that played yesterday because the two teams that played yesterday defensively both are horrible. And I've said this before, not necessarily down to the fact that they have bad defenders, but down to their approach.
The approach, yeah. And that's why
Their
I
approach is the
predicted a
issue.
3-3
But the
draw
two
between
teams
them.
that played today, excellent on the break, excellent defensively. I think one of them, I'm not saying for certain, but one of the two teams that played today is more likely to win the final than those that played yesterday. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I did just prediction just for fun. Yeah, I put it's probably going to be a 3-3 game between PSG and Barca. Well, he went 5-4, but you get what I mean. I knew it was going to be high scoring because defensively not good, and their both attacks are so good. So I knew it's going to be a very high scoring game, and it didn't disappoint. It was end to end. A lot of chances missed as well, and a lot of really good chances missed as well.
And
So
my
the score could
goodness,
have been way more.
the way they shot at their respective XGs.
Yeah,
Jesus
it
Christ.
could have been 7-8 if they took their chances. There was a lot of chances as well, so really good chances. So yeah, that's not how you want to play against Arsenal. I think last
They
season.
will score and not let you score.
Correct. I think last season they played, and I think PSG just scraped by a goal, if I remember. So
They did struggle against Arsenal. Here's the
yeah,
difference: is just that PSV was able to win that game on the day because they're very potent in the attack.
correct. Yeah.
Very, yeah.
Anyway, we'll see. Let's hope they don't win. Simple as that.
Okay, let's see. Jay says he owes 1% of Como. Really? Just 1%? All right.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on Xabi Alonso? Given the names the you can say that were that are being discussed, I think I'd pick him. I'd rather him than the rest. But I have one concern, and if you were part of the show yesterday, you should know what I'm talking about. The concern of him pulling an Enzo Maresca on us. Just you could say, saying bye, Felicia. Should Liverpool come calling? Yeah, and not look back. It's a possibility, a huge possibility, and I've always had that in mind. Yeah, but we discussed that at length, and probably if tomorrow we end up hiring a different manager, I'd swear that probably that'd be one of the things that the owners considered and said, yeah, that's another huge risk, in my opinion. But let's see, Dante. Let's hear your thoughts on Xavi Alonso. Maya is asking.
Yeah, that's what I brought up. Like I said, look, he bleeds red. He's very loved in Liverpool, and he was there a long time. One with them as well. So yeah, I see him, you know, perfect for that job. Basically, if Slot's not there, he'll be perfect for that job. So it's a little bit of a risk. Like I said, the club has to do very good background information and search and etc. to see if his heart is there. So if there's any little percentage that his heart is there, you don't hire him because I just don't think it's the smart decision because you don't want to see what happened with Maresca again. So yeah, look,
But it's unfortunate that a lot of Chelsea fans are not. They just don't want to look at it. They know it's a possibility, but probably just doesn't care.
no, they don't care because he's the name that is the most sort of experienced, as in as a player winning and also as a manager winning. That's on those lists, so that's why. And he's a big name. He's a big name because what he did Leverkusen, but because he coached Madrid as well. But
And because what he won as a player,
and what he
when
won as a
he's
player, he's got the respect. But he is a very. I've seen him speak. The way he speaks and talks, he's very arrogant. And with a young team like that, he'll demand some respect. But like I said, in Real Madrid, he's fell out with the dressing room. That's the only reason he left because they did not like him. His
not
persona.
necessarily the result because he did well.
No. Well, it was very well documented. He lost the dressing room, and they spoke to the president. They didn't want him around. They didn't like his authority, the way he treated them. So yeah, that's a big red flag for me because that happened recently now. So yeah, it's okay. It's Real Madrid. Yeah, they have big egos. Like I said, all the players at that level have big egos. Obviously, some have more, because they're Real Madrid, etc. But our players have egos. I can trust you. Enzo Fernandez, Cucurella, all of them have a lot of them have egos. That's when you get to that level, you have to have ego. You're not getting to that level without any ego. So uh, yeah, look, it's a risk for me just because of that. For those two things, the Liverpool connection, which is very strong. He always goes and was always going playing the Legends games, etc. When he goes back to Liverpool, so he's got a very good relationship there with the the hierarchy there. So that and then falling out recently with the pretty young Real Madrid dressing room, to be honest, one of the more younger ones. So I don't think. I think to me that's a red flag. Yeah,
You can say the arrogance thing, the least of my concern. I'm more concerned about him abandoning you could say, abandoning us to get a chance to coach his beloved club. Where, as you rightly put, yeah, he's red through and through. He won the Champions League with them under Benitez, right? Didn't he?
Yeah, I think twice.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, okay, yeah. So the arrogance is, for me, the least of my concerns, honestly.
Yeah,
Um,
the arrogance. Yeah, yeah. But I'm just saying, it's interesting how he lost the dressing room with the young players at Real Madrid. So that tells me that he's very. It's not just how he speaks and how he acts. He's very obviously the way he speaks to players and how he acts to players. That it didn't go down very well. So that is a concern because it's just what happened with Rosenior as well recently. So that tells you that these players, it doesn't matter there's that big some big players or not. That is a problem in that dressing room at the moment. So if you want a guy in there to completely shake it up and get in everyone's faces and completely, well, that's not going to go very well in my opinion.
mm. All right, what do we have here? He owns 1% taking Como. Let's not make this a big deal. He will stay at Como for his own career. I mean, I never at any time believed he'd leave that job to come to Chelsea for a multitude of reasons, and I didn't want him to, because I did mention how he's actually a much bigger risk than Rosenior, irrespective of how Rosenior finished at Chelsea. Rosenior had more experience when we hired him than Fabregas has now. Yeah. Enzo Maresca, the same thing. Graham Potter, the same thing. He carries, you could say, hiring him wouldn't present a lesser risk than those managers that I've mentioned. I didn't even want him anywhere near the job. That is my opinion. I think people are just going by his reputation. You can say his trophy cabinets, what he won as a player, and how his Como team played. Do I think Chelsea fans they're going to give him that chance? No. And his record and the fact that you can say, I wouldn't go to the measure of calling him a Chelsea legend. The fact that he played for Chelsea, won a few trophies at Chelsea, that can only buy him so much time. It won't last forever, really.
Yeah,
But
he
I
would have
get
been
your point
perfect. He
there.
would have been perfect 2 years ago. Maybe he would have been
Yeah.
very good
So
2 or 3 years ago.
me mentioning me mentioning that he's not going to leave Como, not down to his not necessarily about him being a part owner alone. No, because I don't think he makes sense, and I think the club also, they know. For me, I'd say they know that it doesn't make sense too. You were saying something, Dante.
What was I saying? I can't remember now. Anyway, yeah, that percentage that will go up. He will get offered a lot more, and that percentage will go up, especially if they qualify for Europe. His percentage. He's already spoken about that, so that will rise. So he will become he'll get more and more percentages up whenever that is, probably next season. So yeah, no, I was saying. So yeah, I was saying Fabregas would have been a good coach to get 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago when the squad was much younger, a little bit younger, even 2, 3 years ago. That's when
Even
probably
at the
Fabregas
time,
would
still a huge risk. It would present
still a
no
risk, but
different. Yeah.
young. Our squad was more young, like way younger actually, and yeah, I think that probably would have suited a bit more. But now, yeah, I think we need a mature manager, in my opinion. I keep saying that we need someone more mature, a bit older, more mature, someone that can get a bit of respect, and that automatically happens when it's an older coach. That's how it is. That's how it works. So I think someone that's more mature and older, I think that will really help. With the group.
Yeah. So Ibro, my bro, is saying, yeah, I'm not gonna read that, but nice to see you here, bro. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding time to join the conversation. Matt and I say that it's possible he would be. Yeah, I'm not taking that away. But if they're willing to take the risk, up to them. But I think if they ever discuss that, I think it would take a lot more. They'd have to overlook that and probably insert some sort of clause in the contract, which I don't know whether Alonso would want to accept, because I think he would want to sign the sort of contract should a managerial position, a vacancy emerge at Liverpool, that he'd be able to join them. I don't know how they're going to, but it sounds, everything we've seen so far, a lot of people suggest that we're actually already talking, speaking to his camp, where some an outlet, Argentine outlet suggests that he's on the verge of being appointed. It's everywhere, so nobody's certain what's going to happen. So Jay saying, I wrote in our group that concern about Xavi. We have bigger concerns, such as the other horrible candidates on the list, and predicating the loyalty of a manager is a loyalty is a luxury we don't have. It depends on, you could say, what they get from their risk evaluation. Because yeah, such an entity as big as Chelsea, or if you want to call it organization, if that's what you prefer, they will definitely uh, um, they will definitely evaluate the risk. I think I don't see a world where they're not going to consider that. But I think here's the only thing, which the only reason I'm not that concerned about that. Liverpool's struggles this year are predictable. I don't see anything that has happened to Liverpool in terms of losses or how inconsistent that they've been, that I'd say I didn't expect. Which is why when people were saying, if they're saying Isaac, that's it, they're gonna win the league, and we were telling them no, they're gonna struggle, but eventually they will pick up form. And I think they are at the points where they're starting to pick up form, but injuries also. Some of their players have had injuries, and that compounded their situation a bit, or that meant, which meant that they're not quite at the level where I believe they should be by now. But then again, I think the Liverpool hierarchy, they do know that given the many, that is the amount of changes they made, and the fact that Salah isn't that Salah, and lost a player like Mane, that probably, yeah, it would take a while. They know. I think it'd be stupid if they don't think that that be the case. I don't know, Dante. Let's hear you.
Yeah, well, pretty much what you said exactly. There's not too much to add to that, to be honest, because you've said it all, coach. So well done.
So yeah, I think slots will still be here. I think that probably be the only reason why they will maybe not take that the fact that he's a Liverpool legend too seriously. I understand that. He says, if Marco Silva and Irola are the other options, I will take Xabi and any day, and not worry what's going to happen after 1 2 years. As I said, too rich for us fans to think this reason. I mean, it's sensible to actually, anybody that actually, you could say, thinks that that could be an issue. I respect that person's intelligence. Yeah, so I'm not gonna go straight to, you could say, belittling the person or letting them know it's stupid. I'm not saying you're saying that it's stupid to actually consider that in the first place. It takes intelligence for one to look beyond the moment and say, okay, this is a possibility. So anybody that thinks it's a concern, I respect the person. So whether it ends up, you can say, in fact, again, it's a real concern or not. That's a different discussion. Yeah. So I respect anybody that thinks it's an issue, and that's how I operate. All right. That's, by the way, simple fact, beggars cannot choose. Here's the thing. I get where the perspective where you're seeing, how you're seeing this. If that's the case, I'd rather go for a known name. But I don't think Mourinho would have accepted the job, because even I think months ago he again he's always hoped for for a way to go back to Madrid, and it looks like it's happening already for him right now. I would have gone for Mourinho, knowing that, yeah, he hardly ever stays beyond the 3 seasons at any given club. Just hire him because of his experience, not necessarily because his approach is progressive enough that the fans would love it that much. Some the fans will like him at first, but at some point they will again turn on him again, just like they did to Conte after winning us the trophy, and then it took one performance against Man City for them to turn on him. So, but the point I'm trying to make, if they, I don't think they'd look at him. Let me just, from what I know about our club, and say, okay, this risk exists, but let's just do it. And maybe he'd help us stabilize the ship. And if in the end he leaves, then yeah, we take it from there. I don't think they just see it like that. I think they will try to insert some clause that will make it difficult for him mid-season or at the end of one season, when the players get used to him, get used to his approach. Because yeah, irrespective of the common, you could say common knowledge is that he likes to play with a back three, but he's an idealistic manager himself, which means any person that takes over from him will find it difficult to get the team to play efficiently as they played under him. It will take a while, except if you stick with his approach. So I don't think they'd hire him without inserting some clause that assures them he's not going to say bye, he's not going to pull a Maresca on us. So I get your point of, because yeah, we're desperate. Let's just do it and then cross that bridge when we get there. Do I think the sporting directors and the club will treat it in that manner? I'd say no, and that's my opinion. Chances are they wouldn't mind hiring him, even with the knowledge that he could leave in a year or two, or with the belief, because it's not that we're just speculating here. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So I wouldn't go to the extent of saying a beggar cannot beggars cannot be choosers. I think that's a risky mindset. Even when I beg, I make choices. I don't just take anything that comes my way because, but I get it. It's a metaphor, but I understand. I'm just letting you know how I deal with situations as an individual. But that's just me. Anyway. All right. Matt Meyer says Fabregas is a huge risk now. Yeah, a huge risk. If hiring him would be no different. It presents, even you could argue, a much higher risk than Rosenior. In Rosenio's case, I still think he's a good manager, but he was the architect of his own downfall. Had he taken things slowly, and we had a lengthy conversation on Justice perspective, on the importance of him not being in a rush to implement his approach. We need an older and more mature coach who is ruthless as well. And I'd say this: if we had if we had Glasner on the list, I wouldn't mind him over all the other names that have been mentioned, because I think he's an excellent tactical mind. I just don't want Marco Silva. I wouldn't mind Iraola, but still a huge risk for me for reasons I've learned of late. I wanted him, but then again, more I learn about him, the more I realize, you know what? No. Right now for me, it's Alonso. Even with my concern about the possibility of us leaving us mid-season after 2 years, yeah, that mindset, it's as dangerous as it is. I wouldn't mind him say, okay, when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. But I think, again, we've been told that there are other names on the lists that they haven't made public. And I read something on Vince's timeline, something to the effect of some managers don't want their names mentioned like that. I don't know, for maybe because of their current club or current job. It could be a manager who is you can say managing a country that will participate in the upcoming World Cup. So they don't want to do something that will cause problems for the AFA, between them and the AFA that they work for. That could be the reason why certain names aren't being mentioned, but the names on the list we've heard, it's not just they aren't just not just being just aren't just Iraola, Marcos Silva, and Marcos Alonso, Xabi Alonso, so to speak. There are a few more names, but cannot be mentioned. What about the return of Sarri? He's older, demanding, and tactically he's good. He's one manager that, yeah, I respect him a lot for his ability to, you could say, drill his players, drill them, or you could say, coach them to play beautiful football. Extreme, if there's anything like extreme beautiful football, but at the same time, still able to defend as a unit. His sides are usually excellent defensively. How he's able to do that, I don't know. I know he uses drones and all that to train his players. I wouldn't mind Sarri over all the names that have been mentioned right now. But that's my opinion. It also comes down to how one sees Maresca. Is it a big reason why he left was the lack of ambition by owners? I think that's your opinion too. I've talked about my own opinion, but that's your own opinion. That's not necessarily the big reason he left. By honest, after achieving Club World Cup and UEFA Champions League, any player or coach wants to build on success. Everybody wants to build on whatever success they achieve in life. You don't rest on your laurels. That's one of my favorite sayings. Actually, you don't relax because you achieve something. You try to build on it. And I think from the perspective of Chelsea's perspective, I think we didn't really build, you could say, on the last season's success. Even if you say, okay, the fact, how about you could say, there are so many ways to see it. But if you go back to last summer, you could say we didn't prioritize our spending, which is also a problem. You could argue they didn't know that the UEFA restrictions were going to lead to us not being able to sign as many players. Then prioritize the money you could say your spendings at the time. But here's the thing, I digress anyway. My point is, here's how I see Maresca's departure. First of all, I think we would have been better off letting him finish the season, irrespective of how we feel about him letting us know that should managerial vacancy emerge at Man City, that he's going to take it. Because letting him go, or you could say agreeing to the mutual pattern or whatever you want to call it, wasn't sensible. It was a huge risk. But I get it. You're one of those that feel like the club was the reason, because we didn't sign him a defender or not. That was the reason why he left. I'm not that sort of person. First of all, it was easy for the club to not be willing to, in the first place, start spending for him, because he'd already told them since October that should a managerial vacancy emerge at Man City, that he's going to take it. Why would I spend let's assume you're my wife, you told me something, I've used that. I don't want to talk about it. I'm that sort of individual. That's me. That should such thing happen, that's it. You're no longer my responsibility. But I think they were actually willing to go with him till the end of the season. And maybe because they learned that he wasn't here for the long term or long run, weren't willing to spend for him anymore. Because he told them in October, why would I be spending and be going for the profile of players you want, if that was the case, but not necessarily about the profile of players he wanted. We had defensive issues and we knew that was an issue. And the sort of person I am, I just don't want to, I'm not the sort of person that actually will start looking at the issues we had at the time. The moment I learned that, yeah, you could say he practically used us to beef up, you could say, to polish his resume. We took a huge gamble that not too many clubs were willing to take. I don't think he would have gone straight he would have gotten the opportunity. Actually, I don't think City will consider him had it not been for the fact that Chelsea gave him that opportunity to coach Chelsea. That's my opinion. You're entitled to your own opinion, Jay, but hear my own opinion, and we have your own opinion on the screen. Do you really think, had it not been the fact that Chelsea gave him that opportunity, that Chelsea took a risk? Remember, Maresca is a championship manager. They took the risk. It turns out man's main, you can say, main aim was always to coach Manchester City. How do you think? I'd feel for you to tell me, yeah, you're going to leave it if an opportunity emerges there. I'm just saying, if I were one of those responsible for, you can say, making signings for a manager, once I hear that, why would I waste time scouting or signing any player for you? Tell me why I would. That's me. Maybe you, as you said, beggars, you can say, don't choose. Maybe if you were one of those responsible for making that decision, you'd sign all the players that you can say that profile of players that he wants, and then when Pep leaves, he leaves, and then you have a problem. But I'm not saying that was really the case. You know how much I loved him. You know how much I defended him. But I'm that sort of person. The fact that he told Chelsea in October that should a managerial position vacancy emerge at City, that he's going to take the job. I think, in my opinion, that made it easier for the club not to push to actually convince him to stay. It made it the Man City job also made, you can say, the fact that he's guaranteed to be the one to take over from Pep made it a lot easier for him to walk from something he knew was the situation before he took over. So he walked. He gave up on us. Why do you think we're not hearing much of a payoff and all that? Because he walked with confidence, knowing that, yeah, he has something better. By now, I think you'd hear that he's speaking to tons of clubs to take over. I think he knew. He knows exactly when Pep is going to leave Man City. He was never in the Chelsea job for the long run. And I'd still go back to saying we would have been better off sorting out whatever issues we had with him, let him finish the season. Had we done that, I think chances are we'd be better placed in the table. But we reason, you can say, differently. We all, as humans, we see things from different lenses. But in all honesty, the sort of person I am a very, very principled person. I am loyal to those I deal with, but I freaking hate anybody that I senses any measure of disloyalty to. I don't want anybody to worship me. I like people that I debate with. I don't like people that agrees with me all the time for the sake of it. I like people that I can debate with and learn from. But when I say disloyalty, it's like in the manner of betrayal. You can say, I think the more accurate word to use there would be betrayal. Because to some extent, that's some, because, I'd say it betrayal in my opinion. As Jan from Football Therapy would put it, he achieved, again, 1-2 trophies, which a lot of people didn't believe he's capable of winning. Only a few gave him the chance, you can believe he could win it. After he won it, then it's believable that he became arrogant and moved to the goalpost. Just like I can't remember where I found the article. What's his name? We talked about how Pochettino, he was briefed about the job, the conditions, and then he came in, did well, even though at some point, I hated his approach because too much risk, no control at all. And then started wanting them to change it. But you agreed when they hired you. So I hate discussing this because honestly, it makes me mad. As much as I believe, we would have been better off letting him finish the season, but dang it, I don't trust anybody that, you can say, I would never trust anybody that, tells me, I just don't want to get into it. It pisses me off, really. But that's who I am. You have every right to say we could have kept him. You could say if he bent over, we lick his ass. If you're that sort of person, that's fine by me. We all do things differently. You say that take Sarri over these experimental managers. Yeah, I would take Sarri anytime, any day. I would take Sarri over Irola, Sarri over Silva, Marco Silva, Sarri over even Alonso. Yeah. All right. Same will happen for Xavi some stage. We are blaming managers for loyalty. I don't say he should be loyal. I'm not saying he should be loyal, but we should call it what it again. I believe, in my opinion, to some extent, he betrayed us that you can say had faith in him. So that's why, because the manner at which he left and what I heard is the reason why I've refused to talk about whether he wanted a defender or not. If you remember when he talked about getting a defender is a priority, not an issue for me. But they talked him into being patient maybe till the summer, because we didn't say we're not going to sign one. We just went in a hurry to sign one and something like that. But let me read through what you have. And if you pay attention to what I say, I've always said the manager is the least of our problem. I said that a billion times. I even said that when defending Rosenior. We're blaming managers for loyalty while ignoring the fact that if our owners show ambition and build on success, no coach would want to explore other things. Can we say things like, irrespective of what we did for Maresca, he was going to leave? Can we be honest about Maresca's case? In my opinion, you don't have to believe me, but it is of my opinion that, yeah, he used us to polish his resume. And I'm going to go back to, do you really think Man City would have offered him the City job had it not been the fact that we gave him an opportunity to coach Chelsea? Do you really think that would have happened? I'd swear with my life it wouldn't. But that, you want to add anything to that?
No, coach. You're saying it all very well, so I agree with pretty much everything you said. Jay saying that 50% was they didn't back him. 50%. I would add another 20 or 30% in there. How fans reacted to him, how fans really didn't like him, didn't respect him. Most of them only loved him after he left, and that was just out of pure hatred for Clear Lake, basically. So yeah, look, I think if you add those things up, it made his decision much easier, because he wasn't loved anyway by the fans.
And he wasn't here for a long
at all.
while.
He didn't get the respect he deserved. Even after winning the Club World Cup and that, they
were still booing him.
They're still booing him. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think that had a more impact, much more mentally, had a much more impact on him, to be honest. Because, yeah, you can block that out, but you can't, you hear it and you know it's there, but you're blocking it out because you're concentrating on doing your job. But when you sit down and think about it, I can guarantee you in his head, these fans don't really respect me or like me anyway, so it made his decision much easier. So I would add onto those percentages, I would add quite a lot of that on there as well.
Hey, listen, I think it'd be accurate to say these are because definitely these things. I'm not going to say definitely because we don't work for the club, but I'd say it is of my opinion that the fans not loving him even after winning 2 trophies. That's partly the reason why it was easy for him to walk. 2, he was never, in my opinion, in the Chelsea job for the long run. It was just to polish his resume. It was just to prove that City and Pep, I'm ready for that job for whenever you're ready to, you can say, pack your things. You can say, call it quits with the club or to leave the club.
Yeah, which can happen. But the problem was,
yeah, exactly. So because he already told you. I think if anything, what we should be asking, why didn't we at least try to keep him at the club for the rest of the season? Because the truth remains, the man didn't want to be here. What else do you want to hear if he already told you that in October that yeah, if City, if he can, if Pep leaves, I'm taking, practically, if Pep leaves, I'm the next manager to coach City, which means he's practically saying you're no measure for Manchester City. They're a bigger club. I have every right to interpret it that way. Or I don't love you. I'm just here for the money you're paying me. I don't love you. I'm just here. You can say as more. You can say they say sometimes you find details in what one didn't say, but you have to be able to like analyze what that person said to be able to like you can say pick up things that they didn't say. But one, if you're intelligent enough after analyzing what they told you, you'll be able to say, yeah, this guy really wanted to call me an idiot, but he just smiled and said, yeah, I see. Go ahead if you were saying something, Dante.
Yeah, there's not too much to say, but also probably that should tell you quite a lot. The silence from Maresca as well. He's been silent about it for since then. He hasn't come out and said anything. So, you know, that shows you quite a bit. He didn't come out and say much at all, to be honest. I think he did a little goodbye, if I remember, a little one, a little. He wrote a
That
little
was
bit.
more self appraisal, in my opinion. It's always what that
Exactly.
goodbye message was. If you read it, I nearly threw up reading it. I couldn't believe it. That didn't show for me. That didn't reflect in any way any measure of love for the club.
Exactly. That's my point. That's why that.
Nothing. Even Tuchel, that didn't say much, started with, "This is the hardest blah 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 that I have ever had to write." But in Maresca's case, it was more like self-appraisal.
Yeah, which shows me that
It was
he
me,
didn't
me,
really
me,
love.
me, me, I. I was like, what am I reading here?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It just shows that he didn't feel the love, and he didn't love the Chelsea either, or the fans especially, because the players definitely loved him and they worked together well. But I think the fans definitely not. Pretty much 80% of them didn't like him at all. Championship manager, blah blah blah. Even after he won the Club World Cup, everything. Some another 10% came on board, but as soon as we lost a game or two, they were
They're
back
turning
to
against him.
turn it
Even when
against him.
this,
So
even when you said those bad spells weren't necessarily his fault.
yeah,
I think at the
exactly,
time you could argue transfer aggression because usually that hate directed towards him usually happens if a protest happened and it didn't move a needle and we have a game and we're playing badly, they just turn their, you can say, their hatred towards the players and the manager.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we'll find out more in the future what exactly the details, or there could be something little else we don't know about, but we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, he's been silent, so he's been very silent. So that's interesting.
And people are just sometimes making up shit to say that was from his camp, that he said this about Chelsea, about the owners and blah blah blah. All right. Same will happen for Xavi some stage. We are blaming managers. I haven't blamed managers, but I have my opinion on what I feel, driven by how I feel about Enzo Maresca. My opinion. I have my opinion on why I think Rosenior failed. I think he was the architect of his own downfall, in my opinion. And I think he had an excellent start to life as Chelsea manager. Then his arrogance got to him, and he wanted to prove that, yeah, if he could beat PSG with a much inferior squad in Strasbourg, that he could beat them with Chelsea his own way. I just don't want to get to that. I'm sounding like a broken record right now. Let's see. And that October arrived after the summer transfer window, which disappointed him and showed him the limited ambitions at this club and by the owners. Here's the thing. I'm not. You can say the owners are not my in-laws. I don't even know them. I haven't ever met any of them in person. But I think sometimes there are some things we say that are lies. I think we're better off saying that even if you say they don't know what they are doing, I'd pay attention to you. But saying they don't have ambition, that's a lie.
Yeah, that's I agree. I was gonna
And
comment on that
that's my
exactly.
opinion. No disrespect to you. Tell me they don't know what they're doing, I'll pay attention. Or tell me they've made mistake, I'll pay attention. Telling me they don't have ambition, once again, that's a lie. You think Ganacho, let's say maybe not the most you could say aligned analogy here, but I think to some extent it will make sense to you. You don't think Ganacho is a good footballer? Is he a footballer? Yes. The owners have ambition. The argument you could if you I'm going to say this one more time. Tell me that they're wasting money, they don't know what they're doing, then we have a conversation. But
Yeah,
you
coach.
cannot convince me that they don't have ambition.
I despise when people say that as well. No disrespect, but I despise that because they clearly show ambition. Okay, we don't rate Garnacho, Gittins, but going out and spending 55 millions on Gittins and 35 whatever it is for, that's ambition. That's showing. Now those haven't worked out as yet for certain reasons, but that's ambition.
The more accurate
So
argument should be they don't know what they're doing. Why would they spend that much? Or tell me, why didn't they at least sign Gittins alone and use the other one to sign a defender? Then you have a conversation that's objectively driven.
exactly, yes.
And it's to some extent, in my opinion, truth. Might be completely truthful. Do I think you remember I said today, even if we had issues with UEFA that led to us not being able to sign as many players as we wanted, then we should have gone into the market. You could say prioritize our spending, which we didn't do.
But that's a good point, coach, because Gittins and Garnacho were both under 21. They did not, which made them even more appealing because it didn't apply to that UEFA, uh,
Yeah, exactly. But even at that, I think we would have been better off. You could say prioritizing our signing and not sign just not sign two. You could say two wingers, both of which you could argue we need a lot of time. We need to give them time. In Ganacho's case, I don't think time is the issue. I think the biggest problem is that he's that sort of team of runner player. He needs tons of space to be effective on the pitch.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, Gittins, we haven't seen the best of him yet, but I have pretty high hopes that he will,
No, he
make
will
it.
come good eventually,
Yeah.
but he needs time. The one ready made, I get even as well as he did at Dortmund. In the Premier League, if you understand football, you'd know that he still needs time. Garnacho's case, it's not time, and I think you were one of those that mentioned when we signed him that yeah, he's gonna struggle to some extent.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, a little bit. Because of Rosenior's style. More about Rosenior's as a touchline winger under Maresca, he would have, I reckon, much better. So yeah, look, it happens. But yeah, saying that they have no ambition, I'm sorry, but that's wrong. In my opinion, that's very wrong because
I'm going to the extent of saying it's a lie. That's no different no difference from saying they don't want to. You can say all they want is profit. They don't want to
exactly,
win.
yeah.
That's no different from saying the same thing. It doesn't. It's the same thing. If you're saying they don't have ambition, it is just You're no different from the person that's saying they don't want to win. All they want to win. You could say all they want to do is make profit. What sort of sense does that make? That's my opinion anyway. And I know you very well. I hope you don't take that personally. But yeah, Mad Maya said, bro was legit rooting for City. I think that's another way to see it. Yeah, we ignored it when he asked Jorge Mendes to help his CV. We saw it coming. That was when everything started. When he changed his agent, people knew at the time that yeah, that's a problem. We saw it coming, but how he left, I will never forgive him. That's him. As much as I loved him at the time, I feel betrayed. Honestly. Jay says, I'm not saying he didn't do wrong choosing all the clubs mid-season, but that's a 50% reason. I mean, you could be right, and 50% background build up to that, and that other 50% is never talked about, which is strong. Here's the thing: there are multiple reasons. The fans definitely a part of it. They hated him. That was, I think, the last game. He didn't even applaud them. He walked off the pitch. In my opinion, he could have stayed until the end of the season, and we could have also tried to find common ground and keep him to the end of the season. But I think both parties at the time, and I think from the club's perspective, probably because he tried to move the goalpost, which you could say led to them seeing what they saw that made them say his arrogance kicked in and something like that. There are a multitude of reasons, in my opinion, but I just don't want to get into that. Yes, we were wrong not to back him, but he was wrong for checking out mid-season. That's another way to see it. Yeah. And let's see, Kendurance joins. He says, I still maintain that the situation became untenable, but I understand your feeling. Yeah, I'm not saying we backed him. I think we didn't really act like we did, but I think we wanted to. There are a multitude of reasons why. The issue with UEFA, but then again, prioritize the spending. But yeah, false hope of those we have within our ranks made us believe that it will be okay. And even I thought if we can defend as a unit, that would be okay. But that would be with a system like Maresca's system, with who employs a controlled approach, which means irrespective of how bad we are defensively, you wouldn't even you could say get a chance to try have a go at that defensive line too many times. Making Maresca 100%. Nobody said, I have never said at any time that he was 100% at fault. And me saying that I feel betrayed, that's me. I feel like he betrayed the club. That's me. There was never any time I said he was 100% at fault. The first day I made my opinion public, one of partly was under Louis, my G from Carefree Louis G. He said something. You know how much he loves Maresca, and I said the truth remains the fans were one of the main reasons why he left the club. They made it easy on him. But if you come, I'd still tell you that he was never here for the long run. So I have never at any time said he was 100% at fault. And I'm quite sure you more than once have heard me say the manager is the least of our problems. You can go search my ex, go there, click search my list of our problems. It will pop up. I think one for him, one for Rosenior. So I have never, I at any time said he was 100% the reason. No, even Dante said the fans, they made it a lot easier. And I think I responded with something to that effect on one of the our conversations on X. So the XDs, no, I think, in my opinion, the XDs, I think yeah, they've done a lot of bad, in my opinion. No, I have never said that we should exempt them from accountability. No, I have never said that, and I haven't. For building on World Cup success, and even practically everything I've said today, or you can say 40% of it, mentions how we didn't go into the market, we didn't spend strategically. Basically, he asked for a CB and they ignored. They gave him a 410 window. That's sad. Okay, if that's how you see it, but you get my points too. Matt Meyer says we needed to be honest about Maresca. He used us, and it's a fact. Why did he sign that contract in the first place? Yeah, that's how I want to see it, and nobody would change my mind until I hear him say, "No, I wanted to stay at Chelsea for the entire." You could say, again, run down my contract at Chelsea, then maybe decide what to do next. Then yeah, maybe I'll listen. But definitely, he used us to polish his resume, and I think that could actually still happen again. And that's, by the way, I want to run. I have tons of respect for Maresca. I love him, protected him. I and other people, Dante protected him. Tobejo occasionally protected him, but Tobejo usually gets mad at him and speaks his mind. Bobby at some point slated him for playing out from the back. The reason why I hate him so much, he checked out mid-season and decided to join City after the season. that was sneaky. And why do you think he was, you could say, he didn't care that much about the payoff? He walked. It was easy for him to walk because, yeah, something he believes bigger was waiting for him. And he's been silent since then. That shows how incompetent he is, bro. He pisses me off. That made me mad. Look, I love him, but it's a bit difficult for him to forgive him because he could say he's partly the reason why we found ourselves in this situation. I'm not saying partly, to be clear. One thing that also pissed me off was when Enzo Fernandez started to crash out. He went on to comment that, remember, you must leave with your principles, the audacity. Did he really do that? I usually don't pay attention to such things. I don't believe he did that, really. If we're talking about the unknown, I think if the owners and SDs did their job as expected by fans, managers, players, building on club of course success and takes a next step, which was challenging for Premier League title and be there. Yeah, that we can agree on. I didn't think we did enough. Yeah. City and Arsenal, then Maresca would not enter. I don't believe you. You can't, Jay. You cannot convince me otherwise. I'd still say Maresca's plan from onset, for me, still hasn't changed. Has always been his main goal has always been to be the one to replace a Pep Guardiola. You cannot convince me otherwise, and I have every right not to let you convince me. Really, that's your opinion, yeah, of the unknown. He was the center of criticism by fans, media. Media didn't criticize him that much, actually. Yeah, for issues created by owners, media didn't criticize him that much. Media were condemning the SDs and the owners. Fans were condemning the SDs and the owners. But fans also, every now and then, especially after protests, they transfer their anger. Yeah, you know how. Masters Ibrahim, I think you follow us, yeah, Facebook. If you don't mind, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that way when we get to 30K and we're getting closer and closer, you get a chance to participate in the giveaway and win a Chelsea shirt or the cash equivalent, if you don't mind. But thank you. I appreciate you for joining. And Jen says, Coach, you never said he's 100% at fault, but whenever Maresca is mentioned and you speak only 50% part and not mention the build-up, that tells how... Jen, go and sleep. Yeah, Fez, we cannot ignore that the SDs and the owners are the problem, and we were wrong to put all the blame and criticism on him. But now I cannot say Maresca was an angel. He was never an angel, and nobody at the club is an angel. Yeah, City has always been the plan. Okay, anything else you want to say, Dante, before we call it a day? It's been an enjoyable discussion. Jane knows how to set fire to the conversation. Let's go, Dante.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it, Coach. I think I'm a bit tired too, so I'm going to go for a nap as well now.
All right, thank you so much, Dante. I appreciate you. Hopefully, you'd have the time to join me tomorrow. I'm not sure about the Blue Morning Show. That's until my in-laws come around. Then both will be, streaming every day. With that, I want to say thank you to the captain of the community, Constantine Dante, and my bro, Mad Maya, the rapper. If I was a clapper, I'd clap for you. And we have Jay, one of our senior panelists here. Jay, I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. And Master Ibrahim, it looks like you've subscribed after I told you to. And also tell other people about the Chelsea Perspective. Who else was here? We had, Kendurance Solutions. Thank you for joining the conversation. And Ibro, my bro, was also here. And if I missed your name, apologies. See you guys next time. God bless us all. And cheers.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
Chelsea fans, we won't stop believing. No knock. With every chant and roar, we rise for the fight. The blue flag in the air, let it fly with pride. We're gonna show the world all hearts open wide. From Stamford Bridge, share our voices to the light. We love for the team, stand strong by our side.
Every challenge.
we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, when lights up the skies. And if a cowboy said, for Europe does, and then with a love this storm, every foe's estimate, and there was a strife. You, my heart, keep the blue flame inside like we soar through every challenge. We will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the sky. Chelsea fans, we won't stop believing. New knock with every chant and roar, we rise for the fight. The blue flag in the air, let it fly with pride. We're gonna show the world that all hearts open wide. From Stamford Bridge, share our voices to the light. We love for the team, stand strong by our side. Every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the skies. And if a cowboy said, for Europe does, and then with a love this storm, every foe's estimate, and there was a strife. You, my heart, keep the blue flame inside like we soar through every challenge. We will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the sky. Chelsea fans, we won't stop believing. New knock with every chant and roar, we rise for the fight. The blue flag in the air, let it fly with pride. We're gonna show the world that all hearts open wide. From Stamford Bridge, share our voices to the light. We love for the team, stand strong by our side. Every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the skies. And if a cowboy said, for Europe does, and then with a love this storm, every foe's estimate, and there was a strife. You, my heart, keep the blue will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea's spirit shines, bright lights up the sky. Chelsea fans, we won't stop believing. New knock with every chant and roar, we rise for the fight. The blue flag in the air, let it fly with pride. We're gonna show the world all hearts open wide. From Stamford Bridge to our voices to the light. We love for the team, stand strong by our side. Every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the skies. And if a cowboy said, for real of dust, and then with a love this storm, every phone says to them, and there was a strife. You, my heart, keep the blue flame inside like a soar. Through every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea's spirit shines, bright lights up the sky. Chelsea fans, we won't stop believing. New knock with every chant and roar, we rise for the fight. The blue flag in the air, let it fly with pride. We're gonna show the world all hearts open wide. From Stamford Bridge to our voices to the light. We love for the team, stand strong by our side. Every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the skies. And if a cowboy said, for real of dust, and then with a love this storm, every phone says to them, and there was a strife. You, my heart, keep the blue flame inside like a soar. Through every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea's spirit shines, bright lights up the sky. We Chelsea fans, we won't stop believing. No knock. With every chant and roar, we rise for the fight. The blue flag in the air, let it fly with pride. We're gonna show the world that all hearts open wide. From Stamford Bridge, share our voices to the light. We love for the team stand strong by our side.
Every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the skies. And if a cowboy said, for real does, and then with a love this storm, every phone's just to there, and there was a strife. You, my heart, keep the blue flame inside like we soar. Through every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the sky.
Chelsea fans, we won't stop believing. No knock. With every chant and roar, we rise for the fight. The blue flag in the air, let it fly with pride. We're gonna show the world that all hearts open wide. From Stamford Bridge, share our voices to the light. We love for the team stand strong by our side.
Every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the skies. And if a cowboy said, for real does, and then with a love this storm, every phone's just to there, and there was a strife. You, my heart, keep the blue flame inside like we soar. Through every challenge, we will never ignore. In unity we trust, our hopes on the rise. Chelsea spirit shines, bright lights up the sky.